Oh boy. Well, hello everybody. Oh boy, it's been a while since I've been out, but it feels good as always. All right. I don't have a great deal of time this afternoon. I probably got maybe another hour and a half. So I'd like to try and get something in quickly if I can. What I decided to do is go down to an area where there's a bit of a wooded area, and as you can see, there's a little stream going by right behind me. Now, it's not very colorful. Of course, we're in the middle of winter. The only greenery that we have here are actually some of the evergreens, a lot of the vines that are growing around the trees. So what I decided to do is make this a black and white day. I'm looking at a couple potential compositions right now, and I think if I handle this correctly, it may make a pretty good black and white image. So that's my goal for today, and hopefully I can get 2, maybe 3 images. As I mentioned in a previous video, sometimes looking at the big picture is excellent, but a lot of the time you have multiple photographs that are all in the same general area from where you actually took the first one. And hopefully that will apply today. I'm looking at a couple of things. It's just a matter of whether or not I can make that materialize and turn into a decent image. Okay, let's get to it and see what I can come up with. All right, let's see, I have my first composition set up. Okay, if you'll look in the viewfinder, I'm looking down the stream, and if you look right here, you can see this tree that's actually falling across the stream itself. And we also have some brush and some trees over to the left, as well as a pretty rocky area in the foreground, as well as on the in the right, extending into the background. From a black and white perspective, I think this may work. What I will probably do is crop this a little bit. A little bit of the sky is in the image at the top, but that's not going to be a problem. I can clone that out later on. Okay, my settings are 1.2 seconds, f-stop 16, ISO 64. And everything is composed. I'm going to take this shot now. See, the histogram looks good. Okay. All right, that's one down. Let's zoom in on this and see how it looks. All right. Okay, that looks good. Well, as circumstances would have it, I realized that I said my first instinct was to do black and white images based on the circumstances at the time. But after processing the images and taking a good look at them, it seems that color worked out just fine. Well, it just goes to show that sometimes your first instinct isn't always the right one. All right. You see, now I'm going to branch out and employ the technique that I mentioned at the very beginning. And I'm going to look around in this same general area and see if I can find 1 or 2 more possible compositions. So I'm going to get to that right now. I have my eye on something. Now, whether or not it's going to materialize into something decent, well, we'll have to see. All right. All right, I think I found my next composition. Right behind me are 3 trees that have fallen over. And of course the stream is right down below it. Now, I'm looking at the fact that there are 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3 going straight up. And there was just something about it that caught my eye. So I have my composition set up for that. The water is going to be actually in the foreground. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a slower shutter speed to smooth out the water a bit, to give it a nice even texture to it. And in post-processing, perhaps with a little bit of cropping and some dodging and burning, I might be able to get something usable out of this. So I'm going to show you what I have set up here. Okay, I have the composition set up. As you can see, the water is in the foreground, and you can see each of the trees, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm keeping the polarizing filter on the camera. I've adjusted it just so I get a little bit of highlights in the water, because and also the polarizing filter will give me a slightly longer exposure to kind of smooth out the water somewhat. Right now it's giving me 1 second. I might underexpose that just a little bit and eke out maybe 1.3 seconds. All right, the histogram looks good, and I'm going to go ahead and take that exposure now. So f-stop 13, ISO 64, 1.3 seconds. Okay. And let's see what we've got here. Okay, all right. I think I might be able to get something out of there. What I'm going to do is take a couple more shots in a couple of different orientations and see what I come up with. Okay, I think I found what's going to be my last composition. I'm losing the light, but I think I can probably squeeze out one more image. If you look directly behind me, you'll see these same three trees that I just photographed. But if you look in the corner, I've changed my composition. If you look right down in the corner here, you'll see that the stream is forming a lot of foam, a lot of bubbles. And the bubbles are swirling around. Now I have everything set up, and I'm isolated basically in this little intersection right here in the center. Right, my focus is for the water that's swirling, and I have a shutter speed of about 2 seconds, and that should give me a nice swirling movement in the water, as well as smooth out the water that's in the foreground. So I'm set up. I'm going to take that shot now, and I'm going to show you what I have. Okay, you can look and see the composition that I have set up. We've got these 2 trees here. There was no need to include all of it. I wanted a much tighter shot. If you look over here, there's a little bit of got some layers of sand that are coming up. Looks like there's clay down at the bottom. It has a reddish color, and it's going up. And you can see the stream, of course, in the foreground. And you can see the rocks underneath. And if you look to the rear in the very center, you can see the swirling foam bubbles that I was telling you about. Okay, I'm stopped down to f-stop 16. And I've got a 2-second exposure. And that should give me pretty good movement in that area. So let's take the shot and see what comes up. All right. Okay, not bad at all. The water smoothed out nicely, and we're getting a nice swirling pattern in the background. I will probably take a couple more exposures. I'm going to try and give it a little bit more exposure, perhaps get a little bit more swirl out of it, and see how that turns out. And I'll choose the best of the few that I take. well, I think that's probably going to do it for me for today. I've pretty much lost all of the light. And actually, I think I came out of this with probably maybe 2 pretty good usable images. Maybe 3 after some decent processing. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the way things went today. As always, it's just great to get out and do a little something. So I'll get back, put these in Lightroom and Photoshop and do some processing. And hopefully there'll be a pretty decent image to share with you. So, well, I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. So as always, if you got something out of this, please don't hesitate to comment, like, and please subscribe. Okay? Until next time.